The ego is the system that runs your sense of self. It is made out of thought patterns, emotions, and behavioral loops, and the stories that try to hold it all together. Left unchecked, it creates endless existential searching, chronic disconnection, and the persistent sense that something is wrong. The goal of my videos is clarity, to see your identity and its contradictions for what they are, named precisely, to finally understand what it is that we're all running away from. When is something good enough? When have you tried hard enough? When is it okay to just chill out, man? Just smoke a joint, sit down, just relax. It's all good enough. It's okay. You don't need to accomplish anything. You don't need to do anything. You can just be okay. And then you die. Like, it's fine, right? Most people who are into spirituality or philosophy in that matter usually are never satisfied with that. And they do not understand how can you combine the idea of spiritual contentment through inaction, through presence and peace, with ambition and drive for a better future. Because a part of the existential process is the realization that no matter what you're striving towards, it is pretty much pointless. Most of the seeking that the ego has for money and fame and recognition will still lead you towards your death. There will be no permanence for you. And in fact, everything passes. And from this point of view, nothing seems to matter much. I personally had a lot of existential struggles, especially in like my teens. I was extremely paralyzed by the existential weight of it all, and everything seemed so meaningless to me. You cannot fathom how pointless existence seemed to me every single day. And my intellectual mind tried to figure out the solution through philosophy. And then there's nihilism, and there's stoicism, and then there's existentialism, and there's absurdism, and all these nice little labels to kind of think yourself into a spot where you're more comfortable. But there's still this feeling of pointlessness, like running underneath. And if it's like negatively valent coded, like if there's suffering there, it tends to get deeper and deeper and deeper, and you're unsatisfied and unsatisfied, and then you're kind of convinced, even if I'm unsatisfied now, there's nothing in this external world that will ever satisfy me. And in a real way, this is true. There's nothing in the external world that will ever satisfy you. But there's something in the internal world, like in your internal psyche, that can remove all the layers of suffering and pain associated with this fact. The pain and suffering of not finding meaning in life and purpose, this is the part that is the egoic sickness and delusion that needs something, and it resists the nature of what it already is. Like the ego resists its own pointlessness and its own uselessness, and through this resistance, it's looking for purpose outside that it cannot find, because it's kind of looking for purpose almost in like a God-given way, because just personal narratives are not good enough. It needs to be something big, and you strive for something that changes the world or changes something important, and then you find that this is kind of vanity, and there's no way you ever get to that place. And then from there, you might think, okay, it's like wisdom if you stop striving and stop having these like intense desires for something more grandiose. And to a certain extent, this is healthy, right? If you get to a place where you don't have this negative valent coded feeling that you're not good enough, but you can kind of be okay with yourself, even though you're just working at a supermarket as a cashier, and you're still kind of okay with that, like, this is good, right? It's better than suffering for sure. And most animals don't really do much but eating and sleeping and fucking. So this is fine. But for most people, it's not fine, right? Most of the time, the ego is still driving. And that's why when we see somebody with a lot of ambition, our intuition tells us oftentimes either that this person really gets himself, like he really understands what he's going for, or we kind of intuit this person is like searching for something and is never really satisfied. And this is also why they are addicted and run like crazy. And there are a lot of stars that die very young, which have all the fame and all the money, but they don't reach over the age of 27 and die at this time because their seeking kills them. because they see that there's no point to it all. So there's like a certain level of good enoughness that you might call actually spiritual enlightenment, right? Like there's a level that is good and it's just okay, and you can stay there for a while or until you die. Now, still, a lot of people won't be satisfied with this. And there's this sense that you could be doing more. And then I know that in this existential path, a lot of people will then think that this is the ego trying to creep back in, that it is bad that they are still kind of wanting something, because the entire point of deep awakening is that this wanting layer kind of drops away and you're just content without wanting. So then any idea of wanting something feels kind of wrong. And in a way, if you have like a deep want that drives your life, it will always be kind of associated with ego if it is the feeling of needing something. The difference is between needing something and wanting something. And we confuse these two. And I would say that the need is something that if it doesn't get met, you suffer. And the want is something that if it gets met, you or that you feel more happy or more satisfied or more content, or you feel like you're making the world a better place. And wanting things is great. Of course it is great. You should want the absolute best life for yourself. You should create something beautiful and share it with the world. You can want the biggest paradise for all of humanity, and there can be absolutely zero ego associated with it. Because of course we want things to be better. Why wouldn't you want things to be better? Things can be good enough and still get better. They are not mutually exclusive. You can accept your current circumstances and still do more. If there's a voice within you that asks for you to do more, then go for it. This voice isn't there by accident, and suppressing it will likely lead to regret. The problem that most people have is that they are chasing outcomes. If you chase an outcome, then you are doing so because you need whatever comes from that outcome. You need this for your own sense of self-validation and self-acceptance. And then it will be a fuel of suffering. And it is also not the best way to flow through that outcome anyway. Why not do so in a way that is much more fun, much more liberating, and much more enjoyable? This is what I've been thinking for the last 1.5 years, because now I am slowly but surely establishing this as my full-time job, like coaching people through my ego audits. There's a community in planning now. Like I do want to build something that, like I initially wanted to build something that can help me survive and help people in the meantime in a way that I find very fulfilling. And I always thought that you can never make money like studying philosophy. So I never studied philosophy in university because I thought it's pointless. I don't want to be like a philosophy teacher in school or whatever. But my existential obsessions were always there. And I wondered, okay, how could I make a life where I fully commit to all of this philosophical inquiry and actually have an impact with this that feels good to me, and then also make money of it. And to get to a point where I could believe that I could do this was incredibly hard. And then to get to a point where I could do this without being fueled by a sense of lack was incredibly hard. Just to completely embody this life without it needing to be anything else was what I needed to be in for a good 2 years or 3 years in order to see any fruit in what I'm doing now. And now that things are really starting to work, I know what I want for the next 10 years of my life. And it is certainly not to stay where I'm at right now when there's so much more impact that I could be having. And I've known this also like for more than a year now, that I know that wherever this is building towards is probably bigger than I myself right now can realize. But there's a certain certainty that comes with where I'm headed. And it is not born out of egoic desire or neediness. I'm pretty content to the extent that, in theory, I mean, I love my life and appreciate my life, but if I die tomorrow, it would be okay. There's nothing left that I need from this life. But wanting, I want everything. Give me absolutely everything. And yeah, this is where I'm headed. And if you also want to build something beautiful and you want to ask yourself in deeper ways how you can get to this place that you see yourself capable of and don't want to suppress anymore, my ego architecture audits can help you with that, which you can find in the link in the description. You are good enough. That's what is so difficult for people to truly integrate. It doesn't matter if you are a multi-millionaire or a bum on the street. You are exactly how nature intended you to be. Every atom is in the right place. There's nothing that could be different than what it is. There is pure expression of life wherever you go. And your mind will come up with a ton of reasons why you are not good enough and why you don't deserve a thing. And it is precisely this feeling of guilt that blocks the gates of heaven. Moving through that guilt and recognizing that all the stuff of our past doesn't need to define us and that we can look towards a brighter future is the cornerstone of true spirituality. To express yourself with full ambition and full desire, no shame and no guilt. And then through that, discovering who you are, what your values are, what bad means to you, what you do not want to be through your past experiences, everything that you've learned, all of it becomes the expression of whatever you create next. And oftentimes you can have your cake and eat it too. You are actually alive for a pretty long time. So even if you dedicate the next 5 years, 10 years of your life to like one mission, there are a lot of other things that will also keep going on in your life, and you will keep learning and discovering new things through that process. And there's actually no better way to uncover who you really are by putting yourself in situations that you normally wouldn't put yourself in, by uncovering things that would normally make you uncomfortable, but you're now confronting willingly. The yearning for this feeling of not good enoughness can either express itself as a sort of ego sickness where you don't accept yourself for who you are, which is the case for probably 98% of all people in some extent. And then you can reduce this over time. But then there's also the question of your environment. What is the things that you want to make happen? What is it that actually should happen in this world, in your life, in your environment, in your family? What is the future you want to give to your children, your next generation, your friends, yourself, your dog, your cat, or you want to adopt a cat? There's so much you can do. And this feeling of not good enough towards the existence in which we are at is accurate perception. Society is not good enough. The way we're structuring our relationships is not good enough. The way we are processing our food is not good enough. The way we are talking to each other is not good enough. The way the internet gives a little bit of everything all of the time is not good enough. There's so much that can be improved upon in this world. And to believe that your spiritual realization means that there's nothing left to be done is such a shame. And if you're wondering, what is it that has to be done? Like, can I orient myself to some sort of objective problem that we have in this world? Then check out my last video here. Wann ist nichts mehr unversucht? Wann ist etwas gut genug? So sieht es wohl die ganze Welt, hm? Oder siehst du das nur? Du das nur? Bin so schnell unterwegs, ich spür mein Gesicht brennen. Tja. Ich bin so schnell unterwegs, ich spür mein Gesicht brennen.